Hello and welcome to the Awesome Dynamics Show. This is Paul Dewarian, founder, president, owner, and just an awesome guy of Awesome Dynamic. And with me, I have three of our Amazon experts. I have Tim, Sean, and Blake. In that order, you want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Tim Dewarian. I am one of the Amazon consultants and specialists. Pass over to Blake. Blake, you are muted somewhere.
I am the same. I am an Amazon consulting specialist. My name is Blake. I'm happy to be here.
All right, great. Sean?
Hello, my name is Sean. Again, also an Amazon consulting specialist, and always enjoy doing these with you guys.
All right, great. And we have our specialists from all over the place. I'm from Florida. Blake happens to be from there, but he's in Colorado currently. Sean is up in Washington State, and Tim is coming to you from our headquarters in Chicago.
All four time zones today.
Yeah, four times. Wow, that is four
Ooh,
time zones,
nice.
isn't it?
We are. Good eye.
All right. Well, let's get right down to it. What we'd like to do in this webinar is, of course, answer your questions about how to be successful on Amazon. You could either do that by, coming to the webinar, live webinar, every Thursday, 12:30 Central Time, and ask your questions right here in the webinar. And you know what? If we don't have questions already, we're going to just dive right into the seller forums and answer some questions to provide some really valuable content. This is your chance to tap into our expertise and answer your specific questions, and we'll just go ahead and get started. Tim, what do we have first on the docket today?
All right, great. Thank you so much, Paul. Let's go ahead and pull up our first forum question today. Our first forum question is going to be, if it'll switch over to it, there we go. All right, so this is why I got this suspension on a seller account. Hi there. I got this email 2 days ago. Hello, we are writing about your Amazon account. At Amazon, we perform routine reviews of customer accounts to comply with applicable laws related to commercial transactions. This is a proactive measure to ensure the security of your Amazon account. So they basically go through this information, and basically what they want to do is have the customer send information that shows their complete address, copy of the passport or government issued ID, email address, registration, and the confirmation number. Thank you for compliance with our security measures. The seller then says, since no one contacted me and told me why it happens and when it should be solved, he doesn't know what to do. So I didn't know if anyone else wanted to chime in on this at first, but I think really what's happening here is this may be another one of Amazon's measures to help to help guard and to help protect sellers against counterfeit sellers. I've seen a lot of sellers recently have a situation where they were actually showing had a lot of other sellers show up on their product listings, and they were just brand new sellers that didn't have any track record. They had tens or hundreds of thousands of listings already, and I think that this is one of the ways that Amazon helps to make sure that you're a valid seller. So it's not unusual, at least I don't think it is, but did anyone want to chime in, add anything else to that?
I just recall that when we were talking to Ted Limas, who's the attorney that we work with that has a specialty in Amazon, that he was talking about how there's just there's a whole market of seller accounts that are for sale. There's folks out in China that are just opening seller accounts, getting past certain category approvals, and they basically set up a seller account and put it on the market to sell. So this way other people don't have to go through those hoops, especially if they get suspended. So I can certainly see, Tim, where you're saying that maybe this is an effort to kind of block that sort of activity.
The other thing that I wanted to mention too, in fact, the seller actually kind of goes on a little bit here and says they did it 10 minutes after they got the email, and they say it's been more than 48 hours. I just want to sidebar and say that can be absolutely normal. Just patience. You said to wait for Amazon to respond. Every so often you want to follow up with them and ask them what the status is. But another seller on the forum says this was on your Amazon Seller Central mailbox, right? I have seen some other threads of some sellers receiving information saying that they needed to verify information as well and to send it to a certain phone number or fax it in or what have you. This, my concern, even though they said yes, it did come through the mailbox, I would be actually partially concerned that this may be someone spoofing an Amazon account rep and may actually be trying to get information from you to try and break into your account or try to do some kind of identity theft. It's hard to say, not quite sure exactly what it could be, but I would also verify the authenticity of this. If it came through as a performance notification up in the upper left-hand corner of Seller Central, then it may be just fine. But if it came through as just a buyer message, or if it came directly to your email address, I would be very concerned and double check with Amazon to make sure that it legitimately did come from them first before proceeding with any of the instructions in here.
Yeah, Tim, I just went to the bottom of the email. Somebody else said they were having the forum. They said they were having the same issue, and the original poster said they did get the account suspended.
Okay.
And it took about 2 weeks, but there was another person on there that says they're getting the same problem. So I'll go ahead and reach out to them as well and let them know that, it's patience and persistence. 2 weeks.
Yep.
That's actually pretty fast for an account suspension issue. We've dealt with some that's lasted up to 6 months before. So, again, we always preach patience and persistence. Be nice as pie. Contact them every day until you get what you want. Eventually, you usually do. All right, Tim, what do we have next on the docket?
All right, so our next question here, and this one's actually going to be for Sean. This one says, incorrect dimension override during receiving. I hope this isn't one of those daily questions. Amazon FBA incorrectly changed dimensions on approximately 30 SKUs, totaling approximately 150 individual products, to nearly 500 times the actual dimensions of the products. I noticed this after a handful of orders shipped and being charged $22 pick and pack instead of the normal $3. They said they opened a case and they said the only thing that they could really do is to send all the inventory back and provide pictures showing the actual sizes of them and then send it all back in. I think that's a little bit of a bad advice, but I'll leave that for Sean. So he just basically wants to know, am I being charged a daily rate for the storage on this? The next question is, do I really need to pull all the inventory back? How do you guys have success with handling having overcharged pick and ship fees? And how do I return this product and then again charge crazy oversized fees? So, Sean, you ready?
So first off, this is one of those where using Amazon's lingo comes in handy. If you had just asked for what's called a QB then it would have been forwarded to the correct team, where basically they just go out to the warehouse, pull one of your items, and do a laser scan and wait. We've seen them come through, and their inches go down to like 5 or 6 decimals. So they do a really big scan, but it sounds like the person you ran into on the first Amazon tier, just gave the blanket response. Depending upon exactly, now as far as the questions go, depending upon exactly how big they made it as far as the storage fees, yes, you could be getting charged daily storage fees. Once all this gets ironed out and cleared up, moving on to some of the other questions, it is one of those things where you can open cases with Amazon asking for your money back. They usually limit you to no more than 5 per each case. And you have to specifically show, what order it went out, how much you were charged, and then they'll go back through and adjust the rates. It does take time. We say it a lot, persistence and patience. Amazon, as long as you push them, they usually come through in the end. It just takes time.
I think the other questions was, how do you return it and what are the kind of fees that they should expect to return?
Yes. Now, again, this is one of those problems. It doesn't say exactly what size they were in here, just that they were, small items that were very large. So again, you probably would pay, it's 50 cents to return each item. I believe there's a certain point.
Well, so standard size items are 50 cents per unit. Oversized items are 60 cents per item. So it's not that much of a difference, fortunately.
Yes, it would just be the time, effort, and energy and having them returned to you and resending them back in.
But I think suffice it to say, Sean, that we don't really think that you need to actually have all the inventory sent back to you. I think if you
No.
reapproach it, open this up as FBA issue, and specifically request a Cubiscan on the product, I think they'll be able to put that message out there, and then after everything's all settled, you'll be able to seek out reimbursement for those overcharges on the products.
Yes, no, it will sometimes take a little bit of time for the scan, depending upon how quickly Amazon gets to it and where exactly the product is in their warehouse system. So, you know, I've had them take 24 hours. I've also had them take up to 1 week.
All right, great. Anyone else want to chime in on that at all?
I don't think so, Tim.
No.
Unless Blake's got something to say, we'll go on to the next one, okay?
All right.
That one.
All right, great. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, so the next question, and after this, we'll take a quick break to talk a little bit about Awesome Dynamic. But this particular question is, can now use FBA for international sales. He says, just got an email from Amazon saying that we can use FBA for the North American Unified account. Previously, we were only able to do seller fulfilled. Does that mean the FBA products will still ship from the USA warehouses? If so, does Amazon handle all the export paperwork? Couldn't really find any info on this. So I read through this, and he actually posted the content of the email. It says, hello from Amazon. Amazon's Build International Listings tool in North America helps you create and update your product listings across Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, and Amazon.com.mx. In addition to seller fulfilled products, it can be used to list your fulfillment by Amazon products. To add your FBA products, simply edit an existing marketplace connection or add new marketplace, blah, blah, blah. So my first reaction to this seller's question is, does that mean that your FBA inventory will just be available in these other marketplaces? The answer to that is no. They're just saying that you can build your listings for FBA products, but you still would have to ship your FBA inventory to those specific warehouses in those countries in order to be available through the FBA program. There is an exception. There is a program called FBA Export, which will allow you to have a customer who is in another country buy your product from Amazon.com and have that product shipped to them internationally. But your product has to qualify for what's called FBA export in order for that to happen. You may or may not want to turn it on, depending on what kind of obligations you have. Your product may be restricted from being available in all countries, so you may want to be careful about doing that. But that's why Amazon will usually restrict what you can and cannot do through FBA export. But that might be an option for you. But in a nutshell, again, this particular email that you got does not say that your FBA inventory can be available in all three countries that are part of the North American Unified account. It just means that it's easier for you to build your listings, both for FBA offers and for self-fulfilled offers. Anyone want to add anything? Because I want to talk about how that's a little bit different than how it works in the European Unified accounts.
Now, Tim, why don't you just hop right into that?
All right, I will do just that. So, if you decide to sell in America, in the EU, they have a Europe. It's basically another unified account, and there are 5 main European marketplaces, which are the UK, Spain, France, Germany, and Italy. I believe I got all those right. You can, again, build your listings in any of those countries, and they do have tools to allow you to propagate that information over and translate it to other languages and other marketplaces as necessary. But unlike the North American account, Amazon basically has 3 options for you to do FBA over there. And we actually did a whole entire webinar on this particular subject that I would certainly encourage you to take a look at to learn more about it. But basically, their models, because of the way the European Union is set up, their models allow for easy export and transfer of inventory and shipments across borders, whereas the North American Unified account is not set up that way. So, figure I just want to touch on that. Great. Anyone else want to add anything before we dive into Awesome Dynamic a little bit here?
No, why don't you pull up the website and we'll get going.
All right, perfect. I'll go ahead and do that. Paul, you want to start?
Sure. So, at Awesome Dynamic, we can help you be awesome online. And these days, that could be through the means of Amazon Seller Consulting, Amazon Account Management, where we could either help you figure out how to do some of this stuff on your own through our consulting programs, or we could just take your entire account and run it for you. We have customers that have one product. They're just looking to get on Amazon to get some exposure. Maybe it's an invention they have, all the way up through clients that have thousands and thousands of SKUs, doing millions of dollars on Amazon a year, and everything in between. So some of the folks that are on our webinar today are the experts that are behind the scenes. We have account managers that are highly customer service focused that work with you directly as well. Other than that, we also do search engine optimization, and we also create websites, responsive websites that work online. And of course, that's all part of the online experience, trying to get people to find you online and getting targeted customers, essentially. If you're interested in learning more about Awesome Dynamic, in the upper right-hand corner, if you want to just get some more valuable content, we have a blog, and the past webinars are up there. We have a lot of in-depth topics, presentations on certain things like the buy box, why it's important, FBA labeling and how to do it, some of the different tips, techniques, best practices, all that kind of stuff. If you want to learn or join any of the webinars or learn about anything else that we have the Join the Awesome list on the left there. You just pop your email in and we'll start sending you just emails on valuable content. We don't advertise to you. We just give you information on what we're doing that will be valuable content for you to learn how to be better on Amazon. And of course, if you really enjoyed this webinar, we encourage you to scroll on down to the bottom of our page. There's a Review Us button. Please click on that, click thumbs up, and give us a 5-star review on either Google or Facebook. We really appreciate that, especially if you found the information in this webinar valuable. And with that being said, Tim, we'll go ahead and send it back to you to get into our next question, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Paul. I really appreciate it. Let me flip this back over to me here. All right, so let's talk about our next item, and I think this is another one that Sean is going to cover for us today. So the question on this is changing pictures on an item. Hi team, I'm a new seller. I would like to know, I added an item to sell with a specific UPC. Someone already tried to sell this item a few months ago, but he doesn't anymore. The thing is that the item is still on Amazon with old pictures. I added mine, but I noticed that I appear when I click on available from these sellers. But the main item is still the old one, even if the guy who put that is now inactive. Where can I change that? Is it possible? Even if I had the same UPC? Thanks. All right.
So this is one of those where you don't have control of the listing. You know, it's an existing listing already. There are some other ways around it, but it sounds like you're selling another somebody else's item. You're not the manufacturer or anything like that. So basically, anything you want to change, you have to go to Amazon, open up a case with them, and say fix this listing. You have to give a reason why. You're talking about images, so even saying these are better high quality images is usually enough. If you have any links to the brand owner's website, to the manufacturer's website, those always help. But at the point where you're at, you have to kind of step through each individual item and change them separately. You can kind of do it all at once, but we find that if you put too many things in with one person in Amazon, some stuff tends to get lost and not everything gets done the way you want. So, you know, open up several cases is the way to go. Now, if you happen to be a brand owner, if you are the manufacturer of this, or you work with the manufacturer and you're the sole seller on Amazon, you can get brand registry. Now, we've gone into brand registry in depth quite a bit. It's something that we really feel strongly about getting. This would have allowed you to be the owner of the page. You would be able to go in and change the items whenever you feel like. You wouldn't have to go through Amazon. It would also prevent other people from changing it. So if you had brand ownership and somebody else was selling your item and they said, hey, we have better pictures, they'd submit it to Amazon, and Amazon would say, well, no, you're not the brand owner. You can't make changes to this listing. So.
All right. Great.
Go ahead, Blake.
Tim. No, you go ahead.
Sure. Okay. There's also examples. Let's take this guy or this person or company, for example. Let's say they show up and it is their item. They don't have brand registry yet. Another tip and trick is to, as Sean said, open a case to get details of an ASIN change. But if you provide photographic evidence as well with the cases, it heavily favors the person opening the case. For example, we have a client who showed up on Amazon and they noticed that someone had listed a lot of their products. They had remanufactured the products to different sizes and lengths and packs, but there was all these existing listings with the correct UPC still because they did not change their UPC internally, and they're on Amazon and they're like, hey, all of these things are incorrect dimensions, incorrect images, but it's our product. They were still stuck in limbo getting brand registry because it often takes patience and persistence. And a lot of the cases we opened, we realized they had said, provide photographic evidence and we'll make these changes to these listings as well. So again, providing photographic evidence will only speed up most likely your case and the strength of the case when you open it.
I was going to mention that another thing that can really influence your ability to be able to make changes on a listing, besides obviously brand registry, is obtaining the buy box. One little clue that I noticed is that this person had said that they're both a new seller and that they saw that they had to click on available from these sellers in order to see his offer for it. And because of that, that tells me that the seller does not have the buy box. And oftentimes you can't have control of a listing unless you have the buy box. So I think that would probably be a big thing towards having that kind of influence, that you want to be able to change those listing details. And the next question is, how do I get the buy box? Which again, we've gone over in great detail before, but in general, you have to be a seasoned seller, have to sell, several products and have to be on the platform for a while, which as a new seller is difficult. One thing you can do to really fast track that is get your product into FBA. We oftentimes see that if you send your product into FBA, even if it's just, some quantity for now, that it does get you the buy box and can certainly help influence your ability to be able to change listing details like photos. All right, if no one has anything else to add, I'll move on to the next and our final question for today.
Let's do it.
All right, great. Last question is going to be returns and refunds. We were actually kind of touching on this a little bit before. I am venting here. I wish the refunds, actually, I think we were talking about it before we went live. I am venting here. I wish the refunds were not processed until the return was back into the warehouse. Many are not returning, so buyers have my items and my funds. I feel your frustration. I would say right off the bat that your buyer does not have the funds yet. If you are an Amazon buyer, you'll notice that if you do return something to Amazon, you will not get the funds in your account back to you until the product has been marked as shipped or received, at least shipped back to Amazon. Sometimes they wait until it's actually received. Now, Amazon, as soon as a return is initiated, Amazon will take those funds out of your seller account, and Amazon basically will hold on to those in reserve until the buyer actually returns the product within those 45 days, because the customer does have 45 days to return the product before they will hand it over to the seller. To the buyer. Now, we have found that there are situations where Amazon, they should, if 45 days passes and the customer has not returned the product back to Amazon, then Amazon should automatically reimburse your funds that they took out of your account. But it's not a perfect system. And this is why it's so important that you do a regular audit on these kinds of things on your account. A couple things that we recommend you audit on a regular basis include unreimbursed returns that were not sent back. Also reconciling shipments. any kind of incorrect fees that were assessed. So you can request to be reimbursed for, let's say, fees that were charged in excess of what they should be because of an incorrect measurement or what have you, like we talked about earlier. But yeah, that is a frustrating part of this, I guess you could say. But you just need to follow up on it and make sure that you get either the product back to the warehouse or you get your funds back to you if it's not returned in time. Anyone want to add anything before we wrap up for today?
Yeah, just the reconciliation of those FBA returns can really add up to a significant amount of money, especially if you're doing a high volume of sales on Amazon. I recall some of our larger accounts amounted to thousands of dollars per month in unreimbursed returns. So really making sure that you're after that, making sure that you're doing it is going to definitely affect your bottom line.
Great. Did you want to do anything else, Paul, or do you want to wrap up?
Let's wrap it up. How's that sound?
Right. Sounds good to me.
Well, thank you again for joining us for the Awesome Dynamics show. I hope you found this information valuable. If you'd like to reach out to us to get involved with Awesome Dynamic, let's say you want to have us help you out with your account or run your account for you, you can, of course, head over to awesomedynamic.com. Again, that's awesomedynamic.com. Or you can give us a call. And we'd love to answer the phone. It's 800-238-1811. Our director of sales, Terry Levin, will take your call. If he's on another call, you'll hit his voicemail, but he is really good about getting back to folks right away, often within just an hour of almost any message that you might leave. So we're really good at getting back to people right away, whether it's through email, through phone calls. Hey, we even got a free quote button at the top of our page. And if you click on that, that's going to get you right into Terry's email, and he'll get back to you via email or phone call that way too. Set up an initial consultation, talk about some of the different issues that you have, and see how we can put together a plan that'll work for you. Again, if you want more free content from us, you can always sign up for our webinars. They're every single Thursday, 12:30 Central. You just go to the webinar page, click the register and watch now button. You can register for future webinars right there, or just sign up to be notified when they're coming out. There's also the awesome list that you can sign up for. So this way, when you have any blog or webinar content coming out, you'll get notified right in your inbox. Thank you again for joining us. Again, remember, visit awesomedynamic.com or dial 800-238-1811 and have a wonderful day.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.